Hey guys, Bearded Beast of Duloc here. Wanted to weigh in on the McCarthy versus Pulcinella great bodybuilding debate. Before I get into my opinion, just want to let you guys know who I am. If you haven't seen me before, I'm an industry writer. I've written hundreds of articles in the industry. I've been training since 1986. I'm a top-ranked powerlifter in the United States for my age and weight class. But I spent the first 20 years of my life in the muscle building world. I started in '86, back in the old Weeder era, and I had plenty of years doing the frequent feeding thing. My goal in this video is not to push an opinion. I want to give you some insider information, let you process your own opinion, come to your own intelligent conclusion, and and hope it helps you guys a little bit on your path. A little background, I have personally either interviewed, did a podcast with, or been face-to-face and did video work with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of top natural bodybuilders, top figure competitors, and even top fitness models. I have worked hand in hand or talked on the phone or profiled these guys for years and years. So I get to see as an industry writer exactly what these guys are doing and hear, face to face exactly what they are using to succeed. Now, with that said, I will tell you, before we get into the frequent feeding discussion, there are two aspects of frequent feeding I want to bring up. Two things I believe are separate debates. Frequent feeding while fat loss or cutting. When you are frequent feeding and trying to lose fat. And the other debate is frequent feeding while trying to build muscle. So the two debates that I believe are separate are, does frequent feeding increase calorie expenditure when trying to lose fat? And the other debate, is frequent feeding optimal when trying to build muscle? Now, to address the frequent feeding while losing fat and does it increase energy expenditure, I personally do not know. I am not a bodybuilder. I have built muscle, plenty of muscle, but I have never competed, so I do not have any personal experience with that. With that said, I will tell you that of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of competitors, pro competitors I've talked to, I only know one or maybe one, possibly two, that does not use frequent feeding or a variation of frequent feeding, meaning they eat 5 times or more per day. The question, so that's the facts, guys. I'm not trying to push frequent feeding on you. I'm just telling you it's been the industry norm for a long time, and it's not letting these guys down. If they have a precise diet and they're basing it on how their body, they're altering it to fit their specific needs, it's not letting them down. There's not some big gaping hole that's being exposed with frequent feeding while cutting. It works. I've never seen it let anybody down who does it correctly. So it is what it is, guys. You make up your own decision as to whether it is bro science or whether it is something you should consider. Now, the question at this point becomes, for me personally, if you're running frequent feeding and you're running the opposite end of the spectrum, intermittent fasting, which is more optimal for not only losing fat, but for maintaining muscle mass? Those are the two sides of the coin when it comes to cutting, guys. I believe that both sides can get shredded. Frequent feeding and intermittent fasting. I've seen guys on intermittent fasting get shredded. I have no doubt both sides can get shredded. The question for me becomes, are both sides equally maintaining the same amount of muscle mass when they get shredded? And guys, I'm talking about naturals here because most of you are not, in the other realm. Most of you just want to know for the natural realm, which is not only causing you to lose fat, but also helping you to maintain as much muscle mass. With frequent feeding, or with all programs, guys, when you lose fat, you're going to lose some percentage of muscle. There is enough of a data pool from pros, figure models, fitness models, figure competitors, that sort of stuff, to know that tons and tons of these guys are doing it properly and not losing that much muscle. They're losing some, which is normal, but there's a big enough data pool to know that it can be effective for maintaining muscle mass if they do it correctly and base it on their specific needs. Is there enough of a data pool with infrequent or feedings or intermittent fasting to know that these guys are not only losing fat and getting shredded, but maintaining muscle mass at the same rate as a frequent feeding group? That, guys, I do not know. That is a question that I do not personally have enough data on, so I can't recommend it for that reason. Certainly there are, examples out there of guys that have gotten shredded using intermittent fasting who are pro bodybuilders, but do they have the base lean body mass as non-pros, or is it as optimal for them if they ran frequent feeding? Did they maintain as much muscle mass as if they ran frequent feeding? I do not know. There's not enough data for me. I personally, as somebody who kind of balances in both worlds between science and real, what's taking place in the gym, I personally want to see a study between hardcore competitors, guys that are really training, either pros or, at that level, that they have their training and diet dialed in. I want to see a study comparing these guys during 10-week cuts on frequent feeding and infrequent feeding and intermittent fasting to see which one maintains the most muscle mass, all things considered. Then and only then will I feel very comfortable recommending intermittent fasting for for maintaining muscle mass. Some of you guys are going to jump on me for that, but please, guys, I use intermittent fasting. Don't jump on me. Hear me out. I'm just saying from a scientific standpoint, this is what I would like to see. You want my personal opinion? I've ran in intermittent fasting as a bigger, muscular guy. I have found, and I take a lot of caliper readings, that when I don't use protein during the underfeeding window and only eat during a small window at night, I have troubles holding on to all my lean body mass, even if the calories are there, guys. That's just my experience. And so, I've been doing caliper readings for a decade or decades, and I pretty much know where my body is at. So to combat that, I added in protein during the underfeeding window, and basically it turned intermittent. I have intermittent fasting with like 3 protein feedings, basically shakes or string cheese, something low carb in the underfeeding window. I have those during the morning, and for me that has helped me maintain my lean body mass while saving the bulk of my calories at night. So again, not trying to sell you guys, just trying to give you the facts as I know them. So, guys, I hope this video has been some help. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. If you have any video suggestions, please leave them below as well, guys. And as always, please subscribe to the Bearded Beast of Duloc, kids. The Bearded Beast of Duloc, who wants you to maintain as much muscle mass as possible while losing fat, guys. Have a great day.